Hello, I'm Zoe and I've officially never done this before, but I thought it would be really cool because I've just finished the Finish It February challenge to show you everything I made this month. Personally, I love watching everything I made in like a month videos. They're not everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoy them, so I thought it would be kind of cool to showcase what I've managed to achieve this month. These are not perfectly in chronological order, primarily because I kept forgetting stuff and then just adding them to my list. So you'll have to bear with me through that. So one of the first things I finished was the sort of wall hanging. It was supposed to be a scarf and I was just so over it. I'll put a better picture here in post. But one of you suggested turning it into a wall hanging. And I was like, that's genius, because I do not want to finish it. I was happy with what I'd achieved. I learned a lot. The project was not bringing me joy anymore, and I was really pleased to get it off my needles and it no longer be a work in progress. Second thing I finished was a pastel granny square scarf, which ended up going as a Jack Valentine present to one of my mum's neighbour kids. So the next thing I finished was this rainbow vest, and then on the back it's reversible, so it's kind of the back and the front, and then on the other side I have a mushroom in Intarsia. And I really enjoyed that project. It sort of got me out of a knitting slump, which was fabulous. The only thing is that I finished it in, I think, September, and I just wore it as is. I still haven't blocked it. It wasn't until this month that I actually got round to putting the armhole edging on. Previously, it had just been like a stockinette edge and it was kind of rolling up. The next thing I did was card up all of my wool scraps with some Corridel fleece I had to make these little rolags for spinning on my drop spindle. Or my gran said that she's going to teach me how to spin on her wheel, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to doing that. These may be spun on either, I've got no idea yet. I just made them because I need to do something with my hands. I was having a bad brain day and nothing was scratching the itch quite like destructively carding something, you know? But aren't they delightful? They're just like little floof noodles. I love them so much, and I've not even done anything with them yet. Which brings me on to the next thing I'm going to show you. This is a full scrap spin with a little bit of Corridel plied in. So it's 2-ply. One of the plies is a scrap and Corridel blend, and the other one is this pure Corridel. And I spun exactly the same weight of fibre on both bobbins, but I had loads left over of the plain white. Now, in hindsight, I should have kept it for plying with something else and kept it as a single. I just wanted something to do, and so I plied it together because I'm a menace. So now I have a little bit of 100% Corridel and a ball of scrap. I haven't weighed it. I don't know how much it weighs yet, actually. It's not got that far. So I've completed 2 little kind of mini balls of wool on my drop spindle this month. The next thing that I made was a load of these in various different colours. I have a lot of cotton in my stash, which is weird for someone who literally never works with it. I think I've been given a lot of it. Some of it's left over, I've tried to use it up, and I just still have a stash of it. So I went through and made a load of face cloths. Some were bigger than this. This was like the smallest size. And I just held 2 cotton wools double and did some double crochet stitches, or treble crochet if you're in the UK. Made little flannels. Nothing wildly exciting. I knit a couple of corner to corner face cloths with some nice burnt sort of orange colour, but they're all in the wash and I'm not showing you my flannels. It's just weird. The next thing I got up to was this scarf, which, let's be honest, I had no business making given it was finished in February and I was supposed to be finishing stuff. Although I suppose I finished the last of this wool. Don't think it counts though. I made this and I've worn it pretty much every day since I made it. It's wonderful. It's not as long as I would have liked because I was using up not even a full ball of wool, but it's nice. Sometimes I tie it twice. I've never worn it like this because it just makes me look like a babushka, but if I was like a cool Instagram girly, I could probably get away with it. I'm just not. I'm really short. I'm 4'8". If I wear stuff like that, I look like a garden gnome, and I just can't pull it off. I wanna pull it off, and I can't, so I don't. The next thing I made that I can't show you because my cousin now has it, I made him an ear warmer. I'll put a picture up. And that was because I was halfway through making a hat for my father-in-law, and then his ears were cold on a trip. I covered it in my last video. So here is the hat that I made for my father-in-law. In true me fashion, it did not occur to me to take like a decent photo or a video of it. So hopefully I can take a still from my last YouTube video to show you. In my defense, I didn't realize I was going to be filming this video until literally like yesterday. I have not planned well at all. I'll try and plan better for March. If I do it in March, I don't know. The next thing I made is this. Now, actually, I made a gauge swatch with this pattern. And then I was like, oh, but it's so cute. Maybe I could turn it into something. And so I did. Again, I had no business doing this, but I'm kind of at the moment with where my brain's at. We've had a bereavement in the family. My head is just kind of all over the place. And so I'm sort of letting my craft take me where it will and allowing myself to have that time. If it makes me happy and gives me a little bit of dopamine or serotonin or whatever happy chemical it like floats around in my brain, I'm taking it as a win. I'm not quite sure which baby this is going to go for. I'm thinking maybe my friends because they're kind of goth and I feel like it would be quite cute. And also, they're the only person I know with a baby of a head of the right size for this, so I feel like they're going to get it just by default. The next thing I made, I was like, I have no business making this. I made another one. Again, the other scarf made me so happy, but it wasn't quite as big as I wanted. So I was like, oh, I have got more of this wool than I had the previous ball. Maybe this one will be the size I want it to be. It's still a little bit smaller. I got up to 130 rows with this one, whereas the other one only got up to 112 rows. This is such a weird angle. And then I crocheted like a bit at the end with the tiny bit of wool I had left over to just make it long enough to tie around my neck. And I only had 62 grams of this wool and it still wasn't quite enough. But it's really cute. I don't think I'm keeping this one, even though it's arguably in colours I wear more. It's really sweet, but like, I've got one. Do I need another one? I feel like this is gonna get gifted to someone at some point. But they're really cute. Like, if you want to be very Parisian or something, you could tie it like that. That probably looks better actually than the way I've been wearing it. My brother said they looked like scout neckerchiefs for art nerds, and I was like, you are not wrong, my dude. I can't argue with that logic because he's not wrong. Right. Yeah, that's everything I've made. I will show you the progress I've made and the stuff that I didn't finish in Finish It February. Because I may or may not have got a little bit distracted, as you can probably tell. I didn't finish this, and this was one I'd really hoped I'd be able to finish. Although, to be fair, I've still got, like, it's the 28th. I've still got a while. I doubt I'm going to finish it before February, but I've made significant progress. I started this on the 1st of February, and I've not worked on it every day for 28 days because I don't know, there's something about this project which is becoming a bit of a slog. I think because the pattern is just different enough that I'm not able to get into a flow state with it, with this little lace pattern. It's gorgeous. It's going to look so good when it's blocked. Oh, it's stunning. I can only really do 2 pattern repeats on this before I'm fed up with it and I want to do something else. But I have consistently managed to do at least a couple of rows most days. And it is a decently sized scarf. I'm just gonna knit till I run out. I have this much left, so it's not long enough to be a proper scarf yet. It's probably gonna be a fairly short-ish scarf. So what I'm gonna do is when it looks like I'm getting to the end of the ball of wool, I'm gonna do the really early 2000s knitting style. As I'm gonna like do a slit, so like this bit of the scarf can just go through the other bit, and then it will just be like a little short scarf that you don't need to tie. I know that my mum likes that style of scarf because she's been wearing that style of scarf since the early 2000s when my gran started knitting them. This needs to get done by Mother's Day, so I'm not stressing about it. This was like, if I finish it in February, bonus. If I don't, it's okay because the deadline is in March. I did approximately 3 pattern repeats each week, and to be honest, like I'd ideally like to get that up a little bit. I'm going to keep it next to my bed, so hopefully it encourages me to work on it before I go to sleep. Just do a couple of rows as a wind down activity. And I think that's good because I have to concentrate on the pattern, so I won't be looking at a screen and doing something else. So it'll allow my brain to shut off. And I think if I use this pattern that way, it's kind of like a meditative get ready for bed process, I might like it more. This gets an honourable mention because I actually finished it on like the 29th of January. Again, this is one of those projects that have been on my needles for a really long time, and finishing February gave me permission to just axe it from the work in progress thing. It was supposed to be a jumper, but I really like it. I've worn it to work several times and I get a lot of compliments. Super nice for being around the house. It keeps my shoulders and my back warm. I like it on I'm out and about in my wheelchair because I get like an awkward spot between my neck and my back where the seat of my chair ends that gets really weirdly cold. And this kind of covers that. So I dig it for that. But I didn't technically finish this in February. Just someone to like, we've not seen it on. And I was like, oh, great, all right, then now you can see it on. This is what it looks like. It's a strange garment. It sits in a slightly weird place on me. I'm debating knitting a trim, but I don't want it to go back in the work in progress pile. So what I think I'm going to do is knit an edging and then sew it onto this if the whim takes me. Currently, the whim is not taking me there. It might just stay as it is. I might use the wool for something else. Either way, I'm pretty chill with it. I'm not fussed. I did not finish this in Finish It February, although I did lose the second ball of wool for like a not inconsiderable time. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased. This stitch marker, I don't know if you can see it. This stitch marker here is where I ran out of the first ball of wool. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about the progress I've made. At the minute, I can't really crochet at all. I just can't hold a crochet hook easily because I've pulled a tendon in my hand and I'm trying to rest it. Which is another reason I thought I'd filmed this video. So those are all of the projects that I finished in February or very late January that got included in the first week of Finish It February. Oh, and I forgot the little hat and boots, although you will have already seen those. I knit those as well, although I believe I knit those in January. So again, another one that's just sneaking in there from last month. So what's currently on my needles? I have the crochet baby blanket. I have a crochet along for the East Anglia Fibre Festival that I'm attending next month, but I'm not showing that because it's going to be its own thing. I've still got the Granny Square blanket that I continually work on, but that is not... Progress on that has paused. I've got enough wool scraps now that I could do a bit more, but I'm not feeling it because I just can't hold a crochet hook, especially not that small of a gauge one. So that's paused. The festival jumper is currently paused. I'm gonna finish that probably at the next music festival I go to. That's just that kind of project. I have no inclination to work on it before then. I also have another knitting project, which, if your name is Amy, stop watching. This is your birthday present. You're not allowed to see this. Go away. Pause the video. Come back after your birthday. It doesn't look like much at the minute, but I'm knitting her a hat with little sheep on. No one tell her, it's a secret. Pattern is self-drafted, so I will put the chart on screen so you can see what it will look like. And if people are interested, I'll probably pop it up on my blog when it's finished. As requested in last week's video, I'm working on a tutorial for the triangle scarves. People really liked these, and I'm happy about that. So I am partway through this one where I'm just showing everybody all of the steps, and hopefully I have enough of this wool to actually make it as big as the pattern is written for. Because this is the only wool that I can go out and buy more of this to finish it if I need to. I couldn't do it with this one because I got it from the charity shop and have absolutely no idea what wool this is. If anybody does know what colorway this is, or where it could potentially be from, let me know. If it's still in manufacture, I wouldn't say no to more of it. As you can see, I quite like variegated wool. I had a phase of buying it. I don't know why. I think because it looks so good in the balls, and I'm like, oh, I can't resist it. It's colourful. Yeah. Technically, I could have made this bigger. I could have gone out and bought another ball of wool. But I was stash busting with both of these scarves. So it felt kind of silly to go out and buy more just for the sake of it. And then people wanted the pattern, and I'm quite happy to release the pattern. I've been using this pattern for ages. My gran taught me how to do it. I've adapted it slightly, so I can't claim, I didn't come up with this as a technique. I'm sure there are hundreds of other shawl patterns which are basically identical. But if you want to do the same one I'm doing, it will be on my blog. I'm less loving how this particular variegated wool looks versus the others because the colour changes are a lot longer. And I knew that was going to be a risk, but again, stash busting. I had this left over from my easiest jumper ever on the Centro 48 pin video, which did actually surprisingly well. So if you want to see me use this wool and make a jumper, you can go watch that video. I would show you the jumper, but I don't have it anymore. Nanny Ann really liked it, so she has it now. I bought the wool because I really love the colours. They're beautiful. And I was like, yes, I'm going to make a jumper in this. I'm going to love it so much. And then tried it on and I was like, oh, these are not your colours, my dude. Why did you do this to yourself? You're never going to wear this in a million years. That is everything I made in February. I feel like I achieved a surprisingly large amount given how insanely busy this month has been and how insanely stressful it's been. Although I feel like the stress may be a contributing factor as to why I've achieved so much knitting. It turns my brain off when nothing else will. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next week, and I know that I will see you next week because I've already filmed the video. And I've edited it actually. Somehow I've managed to film and edit next week's video before I filmed and edited this week's video. I've never in my life had a pre-filmed video. Although I feel like maybe I should try and have a few of those if I want to have an upload schedule that is even remotely able to be adhered to. But also, this is my hobby. I enjoy film editing as a hobby that I can do when my hand is not cooperative or something like that. And that's been kind of nice. And I'll see you next week for a stash busting video where I'm just going through all of my wool. So thank you very much for watching.